Hi, this is Marek from Solo, and today I'd like to show you a game called Weirdwood Manor. It's a game from Greyridge Games. Thanks for sending the prototype for review. This is a prototype. This game will be on Kickstarter in April. I will leave link to the campaign in the description of the video. And this game is based on a series of books called Weirdwood Manor, where you have this manor that is stands on the border of a magical and real world. It is a mysterious place full of magic, and this is ruled by Lady Weirdwood, and she and her guardians, she's guarding, keeping the peace between both worlds, but at some point the evil has become more powerful and some monsters are attacking the manor, and you as the wardens need to stop them, to defeat them, and they want to destroy the manor and kill Lady Weirdwood. So this is basically the story. This is a game for 1 to 5 players. It can be played solo with one character or more character as you want. It's from 14 years plus. Don't think that this is a family game. By no means this is a family game, not maybe story-wise, but it's quite a complex cooperative game, and you will see it when I will tell you about the rules. But this is a very advanced cooperative game, and I really like it. So don't judge the game by the cover. Let me show you how the game plays, and then I will tell you my opinion on this game. This is Weirdwood Manor prepared for play. I have the main board, the manor, where you have different rooms that you will move around. Here is the player board. Each player gets a player board. You have the monster board, some companion cards, dice and tokens. If you play solo, you can play with just one character. They recommend playing with 2 because you have synergies between characters. For this demonstration I will use just one character so I can fit everything in frame and show you how the game plays. So this is the manor, the mansion, and it has 3 circles of rooms. You have this outer circle, like that's here. You have the central circle and you have the inner circle, and in the middle is the front room. You have your character, the cool acrylic standee, and you will move your character around the manor, walking to different rooms in order to activate them and to gain resources, get more dice, hire companions, get some additional tactic cards that will help you during the game. At the same time, there is the monster. I have chosen the Chaos Ogre for this video, and you have to place this Chaos Ogre here at the opposite side of the entrance, and in the middle you have Lady Weirdwood, and she's trapped in the front room. She's guarded by the scarabs, and this monster, this ogre, wants to kill her, and your task is to prevent it, but also to kill the monster before it happens. This board is created, you can say, dynamically. It's a modular board. You have different rooms, and when you set up the game, set up the board, you place each room randomly. You have 3 rooms, you can say, printed on the board. They are glued to the board. They are always here, but the rest of the rooms is put here randomly. So each time you play the game, you have different layout of the manor. Apart from the main board, you have this player board, and it looks like this. Each player gets a board, and on this board you have your illustration of your character. You have slots where you will put different dice, because in this game you have 3 types of dice that you use for attack and defense. Blue die is most universal. It has some symbols for attack, symbols for defense, and some symbols for a specific ability of your character. But you have also black die. They are just for defense, and red attack dice, they are used for attack. So during the game you will be able to spend different resources and going to specific rooms to create more dice. If you create another die, you will take this wooden token, put it here, and right now your character has a blue and a red die that can be used in combat. Here is the life meter. Here are your life points. You start for this character with 3, and life points, they don't only show how many life you have, but they also tell you how many cards you can hold in your hand, because each character has a dedicated deck of cards, action cards that will be used in your turn to activate different abilities and to perform different actions. The more life points you have, the more cards you can have in your hand. Here are some character specific abilities, and each character has got 3 completely different abilities that can be activated on your turn or on other players' turn by spending specific resources. You have 3 resources. You have min, this is mana, you have power, the purple resource, and you have the green resource is called knowledge. And you will gather these resources and spend them on different things. And at the bottom of the board you have experience track. The top one is for power, the middle one is for battle, and the bottom one is for tactics. And when you will gain experience points during the game, you will move those cubes on those tracks, and then you will activate different abilities. You will get power tokens or some other resources. You will get additional attack points or defense points, or you will get health points. So when you get experience points, it's up to you how you spend them. If you manage to move the tracker to the last position, you will activate a powerful ability, powerful effect of your character. As I said, each character has a deck of cards. You have 13 cards, and the cards are used to perform different actions. I will show the actions and the card in a second. Right now I want to tell you more about the monster, because each monster has a specific monster board as well. This Chaos Ogre, here are his life points. He's got 18 points, and you have to attack the ogre and remove the life points in order to kill it and to win the game. Here is Chaos Ogre Strength. The whole game is divided into 12 days, and each day you have 4 different times of day. You have morning, evening, morning, afternoon, evening, and night, and you will play your cards in this times of the day, but the whole game lasts 12 days. And for the first 4 days the ogre is calm, then he's angry, and then he's enraged, and the more angry he becomes, the more dice the ogre will roll when he attacks you, or when you attack the ogre, and he will defend. So you have to hurry and try to destroy it as soon as you can. You also have Blight Threat. This I will explain in a second, because you have different rooms, and you also have the Scarabs. Scarabs are minions that help the monster, and they spread on the board, and if at any point 2 Scarabs will appear in one room, you will have to flip the room over to the other side, and this side means that this room is inactive and you have Blight. You can restore the room to its previous state, but you have to pay additional resources, and if any rooms get Blight, you move this threat tracker to the right. If you have 8 rooms with Blight, you will lose the game. And also here you have Lady Weirdwood life meter. The monster tries to kill Lady Weirdwood, and if he hits her 3 times, she will die and you will lose the game. So you will lose the game if the Blight threat goes to 8, if Lady Weirdwood dies, and if you won't manage to kill the monster in 12 days. You have 3 monsters in this game, and each monster is different. Each monster plays differently, has different player board, different powers, different abilities. On the backside of the monster board you have some story about this specific monster, how to set up the game, some advices. So each monster plays differently, and also each character plays differently. You have 5 characters in this game, and they each have different abilities. They have to pay different costs for the dice they acquire during the game. At the back of the player board you have some also story, some advice how to use the abilities in an efficient way. Also, the characters, they have a complexity level. You can see here you have 2 dots, here you have, for example, 3 dots, here is 1 dot. So the bigger complexity, the more complex the character is in the game. It's more complicated to play this character. Each character has got a specific deck of cards. There are 10 cards that are common for each character. They are the same, and each character has got 3 character-specific cards that can be used. Also, each monster has got a deck of cards. You have a deck for each monster, for the ogre as well. And when you perform your turn, on the monster turn, you flip the top card from the monster deck and you perform some action, like here the monster will gain strength, here he will put additional scarabs on the board, he will attack, or he will move. I talked about the time in this game, and apart from different rooms on the manor board, you also have these 2 rings, this outer ring and the inner ring. The outer ring shows numbers from 1 to 2, 3, 4 up to 12, and this shows you the current day, and the inner ring shows you the time of the day: morning, afternoon, evening, and night. And the cool part is that when you have your player board, you have 4 spots that correspond to different time of the day. And when you want to play a card, you start with 3 cards in your hand. You have to play your card in one of the spots. And if you place a card in a specific spot, you have to move forward the time of the day track to a specific time of the day. So for example, if I would play the Shadow Steps card and I would play it in the afternoon spot, I will have to rotate this ring to show the afternoon time. If I would play another card in my future turn in the night spot, I will have to rotate this whole ring to show night time. And if you rotate it again to morning, then you will rotate the day circle. So this is how the days move forward in this game. And this is very clever because you have only 4 spots, and you have to think where to put which cards, because sometimes you would like to put a card, but if you put it in a specific slot, it will move time by many hours forward and you will have less time to finish the game. If all the slots are taken and you have placed all the cards in all slots, at the end of your turn you can remove all the cards from your player board, but this will cause more scarabs to appear on the board. All the scarabs from the inner rooms will move to outer rooms, and new scarabs will appear inside. And as I said, if 2 scarabs go to one room, you will get blight. You will move this blight threat tracker to the right, and first you will not be able to use the room, and the ogre will have a bigger chance to win the game. Scarabs are also annoying because if they are in a room, even if there is no blight, if you have just even 1 scarab in a room, you cannot perform actions of this room. And you have a lot of actions. Each room has a different type of action that you can perform. For example, this room gives you 1 health and you can remove 1 scarab. If you visit, for example, this room, you will get 2 knowledge tokens. So when you move around the manor, you have to visit specific rooms to get specific resources. Then you can spend these resources on getting new dice. You can also get companions. Companions are cards that will give you some additional abilities, but also when you add companion to your board, you add it to the right side of your board, and you will gain another additional slot for your action cards. So if you have 1 companion, you will have 5 slots. If you will add 6 companion, you will have 6 slots. The companions, they cost different resources. The more companions you have, the more resources you have to pay, but they help you during the game, and they also allow you to play more cards before resetting the board, so before getting to the Scarab phase where more Scarab will appear. You also have this Ward and Tactic cards. These are cards that you can use, and if you play a card, let's say here, and you have this Ward and Tactic card, you can play this card on top of the action card to gain additional bonuses. Also, when you play your cards, you can notice that these cards, they have different symbols, and if you manage to play 2 cards in a slot, let me show you. For example, okay, here, if you play your cards in a specific slots and you manage to combine 2 symbols, that 2 half of the symbols that creates 1 full symbol, you will gain this bonus. You can gain additional defense, or you can gain additional attack. Here you have the wild symbol that works like a joker, so you can use it for any other symbol. You can have discount when spending knowledge resource. So there are a lot of things you have to consider: where to play your cards, how to play your cards, on which slot to play them, because it will move the time forward and you will have less time in the game. The later you are in the game, the ogre, the monster, becomes more powerful. You have to think how to play the cards so you can combine the symbols, you can get companions, you can get Ward and Tactic cards, so a lot of things are going on. And there's this monster, for example, this ogre has this ability to destroy different rooms, and if a room is destroyed, you cannot use it anymore. And each, as I said, each monster behaves differently, and you have to learn how to play this monster, learn how to play your characters to have a chance to win this game. One thing you have to remember as well is that after your turn, there is the monster turn. When the monster takes a card, it also shows how many hours you have to forward this move forward this inner circle. So the actions the monster takes also move forward the time tracker. So not only your actions cost time, but monster actions cost time as well. And because the rings that show which day it is and which time it is, they also work as corridors. And if you can see, for example, right now you can access this room, because here you have an open door. You can access this room, but this room is closed. But if you change the day to the second one, you cannot access this room anymore, but you can access this room. So rotating this ring also changes which rooms are available. So the same thing is with this inner ring. If you change it to a different time of day, some rooms may become available, some rooms may become unavailable. So you also have to think how many hours to rotate the rings so you have access to a specific room. So this is basically how you play Weirdwood Manor. Let's go to summary. One thing I forgot to tell you, this is a prototype copy. The game looks amazing already, but this is still a prototype, and some components may look different in the final version of this game, and some rules can be a little different. So just remember, this is a prototype and some things may change in the future. Weirdwood Manor. It's a fantastic cooperative game, and I had a lot of fun playing it. Probably because I love cooperative games, and cooperative games are my favorite type of games. In my top 10 games, most of them I think are cooperative games. But this game for me combines elements from Horrified, Pandemic, but also Cthulhu Death May Die and Return to Dark Tower. It's really fun. The idea that you had some heroes fighting different monsters was already introduced in Horrified, and when I first heard about Horrified, I was quite happy because the story seems interesting. But this game was very, very simple, and Weirdwood Manor is it's a game for gamers, not for casual gamers, but for, I would say, quite an advanced gamers. There are a lot of things going on in this game, and I'm not saying that this game is complex in terms of rules. Okay, you have this rule book, it's 20 pages long. You have to learn how to play your characters because they are asymmetric and each character plays differently. You have different monsters. Each monster has a 2 pages description, a 2 pages long description in the rule book, how to use it, how to play it. So there are some rules to learn, but as for the gameplay, there are a lot of cool things and quite advanced things that are going on. You can level up your characters, you have this experience tracks, you have different cards with different actions, but you don't just play a card to perform some actions, you have to play the card on a specific slot. Each slot represents different time of the day. You have this day track, you have this time of the day track. We have different rooms and the board is modular, so each time you set up the game, the manor will look different. It's really, really fun, and the monsters, they have different goals, different cards, different things they want to do, different behavior. I would say it's more advanced than, for example, Cthulhu Death May Die and, I don't know, Return to Dark Tower. For Return to Dark Tower, it reminds me mostly because of the round game board, but also there you had monsters that appeared at the end of every round, and they try to destroy different buildings. And here you have the scarabs that appear at specific times during the game, and they also try to destroy different rooms. So I really love this game, and I had a lot of fun. For me, it's a perfect balance between a fun game that doesn't overwhelm you with rules, but also at the same time it's not simple. It allows you to have different strategies and different styles of play, and it's not overwhelming, but it's also not simple, just in the middle. The game looks, for some people it may look like a family game, and I really ask you, if you are not a fan of family games, take a look at this game. Take a look at the rulebook. I hope the rulebook will be available during the campaign. Watch some gameplays on YouTube. This is not a kids game and this is not a family game, even though it has a cartoony style of artwork and illustrations. But for me this is more like, I would say, I don't know, Neil Gaiman books, because his books, even though the action takes place in some magical realms, you have some magic, sometimes the kids are the main heroes of his books. They are not kids books because they are a little dark and a little scary sometimes. And this is the same thing as with Weirdwood Manor. I'm not sure about the books. I'm not sure. I haven't read the books, so I don't know if the books were more serious or less serious or more scary or not. But as for complexity of this game, this is a game for advanced gamers who like advanced cooperative games that allow a lot of strategies and a lot of tactics and you know, different styles of play. Even though this is a prototype, the game looks amazing. For me, the game looks like a final copy of this game could look. You have dual layer board, you have this modular main board, acrylic standees for all the character, beautiful tokens, the mean tokens, power tokens, knowledge, the wooden tokens. You have these scarabs that I made from, I don't know, resin or something. The game looks really, really beautiful. And I also like that this game, if it gets funded, I hope it will. I hope it will be a huge success for this publisher. I think it's their first game, because the game allows to create a lot of fun expansions. I can imagine expansions with new heroes, new asymmetrical heroes, or new monsters, because the core is here. The basic gameplay is very good and very solid. The whole manor, the rooms, the cooperative aspect, the time flow, and everything is really great here. But releasing a new expansion with some monsters or heroes or even new rooms that you can add to the manor, it will be great. So I hope this game will be a huge success, so I will see more content in this game, because right now you have 6 heroes and 3 monsters in the base game. This is a lot, because each hero plays differently, each monster plays differently, each time you play the game the dimension will have different layout of rooms. So if you mix, even if you play with the same heroes but you will add a different monsters, the game will feel differently, but having more content is always welcome. So definitely check Weirdwood Manor out, visit the Kickstarter campaign, watch some gameplays, read the rulebook. It's a great cooperative game. I cannot wait when the game will be released, because I have to send this prototype to another reviewer. I would like to keep it, but it's not possible. So I'm waiting for the final game to be released, so I can, you know, play Weirdwood Manor even more. It's such a fun game. As I said before, you will find link to the campaign in the description of this video. You will also find links to my Instagram, Twitter and Facebook. Visit me, subscribe to my channel, click the like button if you like the video, and thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye bye.